So friends, we are taking up contractors on list CAR. At the same time, we will also cover up ER, that is erection on list insurance. So say first of all, the CR and ER policies are part of engineering insurance. Engineering insurance is one vertical which is having number of policies related to ongoing construction project, installation projects, and machines and equipments and project operations. Means there are plenty of policies under the engineering vertical. In general insurance, there are not many verticals. Say, for example, liability section, engineering section, fire section, even motor. Number of policies are there in the motor now. So similarly, in engineering section, you will find plenty of policies. But these all policies are purpose specific. And most of them relate to these three things: ongoing construction project, installation project, machines and equipments, and project operations. You can say all the policies are related to these three things only. So this engineering section has a wide range of policies related to these three things. In addition, there is creation, designing, construction, building operations. These risks are part of the engineering insurance. And you see, when there is a creation, designing, construction, buildings, there is increased chances of related accidents and perils. Because with the designing, with the creation, with the construction, the risk will increase. A number of risks are there. So they are all part of the engineering section to be covered. When we talk of the CR policy, specifically, why the CR policy is required, then you will understand that our country, India, today is among the fastest growing economies in the world. Because there is a rapid infrastructural development. This rapid infrastructural development is not on papers. This is actually taking shape. Any economy of the world where the rapid infrastructural development is taking place is said to be a fastest growing economy. How this rapid infrastructural development can be measured? When there are projects like railways, industrial units, housing facilities, dams, flyovers, power plants, and other such construction projects. That means in that country, the infrastructure development is taking place rapidly. But now the question is, what with the rise in the infrastructural projects, there is also rise in the material risk. So the possibility of damage to the construction materials, machineries, or the constructed portion due to environmental and man-made hazards can lead to substantial losses for the contractors. Why the word contractors is important here? Because all these kind of projects are normally built, started and completed by the contractors. Say for example, the Tamil Nadu government want to have a flyover in 10 cities. So the government will tender You will invite tenders. Either the government department is taking over the job, for example, PWD, CPWD, or they will invite the tender for the private contractors. So when these are given on contract basis to complete, so normally the contractors will take this policy. And that is the reason this policy is known as the contractors all risk policy. Now all the policies of engineering section are classified into two categories. One is annual, second is long-term project insurance. So when we talk of the annual policy, that means issued for 12 months or less than 12 but not more than 12. Annual means policy can be issued on the expiry, policy can be renewed on the date of expiry. Annual means policy can be renewed on the same terms and conditions or even revised terms and conditions as per the requirement. So under this category of annual policies you will find CPM policy, that is known as contractors plant and machinery, EI policy, that is electronic equipment insurance, MBD, that is machinery breakdown insurance, BPP, that is boiler and pressure plants. So they are all annual policies. Once they are issued for 12 months, then they are renewed for further 1 year and can be renewed as per the requirement of the contractors. The other class is long-term policies or project insurance. Under this category, those policies are issued where the project is for a long term. It can be short term also, even less than 1 year. But normally it is for the longer term. And the longer term could be 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, depends according to the nature of job, nature of project. So these policies are also known as the long-term policies. Under this category you will find CR and ER insurance policies. That is contractors all risk and erection all risk. So the basic difference between annual policies and long-term policies is that the long-term policies are not renewed on the expiry of the policy date. They are further extended for the remaining period till the project is going to be completed as per the requirement of the contractor. Secondly, long-term policies are renewed on the same terms and conditions. The terms and conditions are not normally changed. So these are the basic differences, and these are the basic two categories. But the other classification of engineering policies is based on the phases. Means for construction phase different kind of policies are required. For operation phase different kind of policies are required. Construction phase could be longer than 1 year. So these policies are also known as the one-time policies or period policies. Here, in addition to CR and EAR, you will find bare income erection, advance loss of profit, delay in startup. They are part of the construction phase. But in operation phase, policies are normally annual for 1 year. The same like machinery breakdown, boiler pressure plant, machinery loss of profit, contractors plant and machinery, civil engineering completed risk, economic equipment insurance, electronic equipment insurance, and deterioration of stock insurance. So this is on the basis of phases, different phases. So these are two kind of classifications here. But by this classification, you must have observed that there are plenty of policies which are part of the engineering class. Some of them related to the projects, and some are annual policies required for repair and maintenance. Because the engineering policies also have the maintenance period as part of the coverage. Even in CAR policy, work covers the maintenance period also. Here again, the operational covers like fire and allied perils are covering, even third party liabilities covered. But these policies are normally issued for big projects and which are related to the civil engineering projects. See the variety of the requirements. Residential and office buildings, hospitals, schools, theatres, production facilities, infrastructural facilities, airports, bridges, dams, tunnels and harbors. When such big projects are taking shapes, CR is the policy which is providing the coverage. So CR policy is not only for the longer term, but a huge amount of money is involved, that is sum insured. So these policies are normally for a big sum insured. Now the policy has two sections, material damage and third party liability. But material damage section is big one because this is known as the all risk policy. In this material damage section, not only the contract work is covered, but removal of debris, professional fees, free issue materials, construction equipments, construction machineries, principals existing property, they are all covered. In section 2, third party liability is covered, that is bodily injury and property damage. When you are giving this policy to any of the contractor for any of the projects, you have to keep in mind when the policy will start and when the policy will expire. Because both these factors are uncommon. Means period of cover will start either from the commencement of the work or arrival of first consignment at the project site, whichever is earlier. In either of these two circumstances, the policy will start. What? Either when the project has started, work has commenced, or project will start after 1.5 months, but the consignment related to the material, machineries, equipments have already reached to the project site. So safety of that is most important. That is also covered under the policy. So in either of these two circumstances, whichever is earlier, there is coverage of the policy will start. Now the question is when the coverage will expire. So for the expiry of the policy, there are 3 different circumstances. Cover expires when the completed part thereof is taken over. Means the contractor has completed the work and the principals have taken over the project. Or it is put into service. Means some power plant was constructed by the engineer. Now it is started and put into service. Or the date specified in the policy, whichever is earlier. In either of these 3 circumstances, the policy will expire. Now, in case the work is not completed within the period specified in the policy, because policy is for 1 year only, Initially, the policy is issued for 1 year only. But if that project is not completed within that 1 year, in that case, this policy will not be renewed. This will be extended for the further period. So suppose contractor says it will take another 8 months to complete this project. So the policy can be extended for further 8 months on the same terms and conditions. The premium for the 8 months will be charged. If the contractor says it will take another 2 years, okay, the policy can be extended for 2 years. Because the project has to be completed, then only the risk will expire. So here the provision of extension is there, not of renewal. Now see, what is the difference between CR and ER? These policies are normally issued to the similar kind of works. There are many similarities under these policies. CR stands for contractors always, ER stands for erection always. Both are part of the engineering insurance, both are covered by the engineering tariff. Both are related to the project insurance. Both are period policies or long-term policies or one-time policies. But the determining factor is value of erection and installation works. This is the basic difference which will divide which policy has to be issued for the project. Means, suppose the value of erection and installation work is more than 50% of the total cost of the project. In that case, erection always policy will be issued. Or if the value of erection and installation work is less than 50% of the total cost of the project, and building work, civil work, construction work is more than 50% of the total cost of the project, in that case, CR policy will be issued. So both are always covers, but the determining factor is value of erection and installation work. That will decide which policy has to be issued. Now, other unique features of this policy is, in majority of the proposals, there will be risk inspection by company engineers. We are aware that we have hired risk inspection engineers in our company. They are posted at different offices. For such big proposals, where the huge cost is involved, big risk is involved, these risk inspection engineers are visiting, inspecting and submitting their reports. And their report is very important. They are playing a very crucial and very important role in the company and in the risk selection. Because the decision of underwriter is based in such projects on the report of risk inspection engineers. They are either accepting the proposal or rejecting the proposal, or even applying the underwriting features on the basis of the measures suggested by the risk inspection engineers. So their role is very important. Secondly, because the huge cost is involved in such projects, so the duty of utmost good faith is applicable. Duty of utmost good faith says that both parties are responsible to declare all material information. And since in such project the insured is having the entire detail of the project, so it is his duty to declare all material information which is impacting the rate of the proposal and the decision on acceptance and rejection. These policies can be taken either by the contractor or by the principal or by the subcontractors. Almost all classes of engineering insurance are controlled by tariff. Though the tariff is dismantled, but the wordings, terms, conditions and clauses are similarly applicable to all the general insurance companies, and all the engineering policies are guided and governed by the tariff still. But for the purpose of pricing, the tariff is not there because pricing is market free now. Add-on covers are as per the choice of the insurance companies. Policies are similar. Policies, conditions, words, terms are similar. In contractor's all-risk policy, the sum insured is adjustable at completion of the construction because these are the long-term policies. So on the basis of actual value, sum insured can be adjusted. Now the CR policy can be given to those projects which are coming up in India, which are under construction in India. If I am a contractor, I have taken 3 contracts to build 3 stadiums. One in Chennai, one in another in Bangalore, and third is in Colombo. I can take the policy for those projects which are in Chennai and Bangalore, but not for the Colombo because that is the risk located outside India. So this policy can be taken for the risk located in India for which the value of civil work involved is more than 50% of the total contract value. Now principal can take, contractor can take, subcontractor can take. So who are the target segment for selling this policy for you? You can sell this policy to the government contractors involved in government projects like road construction, bridge construction, building construction, and even to the builders and developers of township. They are also big buyers of this policy. Builders and developers of township. Because they are also incurring crores of rupees, millions of rupees on developing a township. So they are also buyers. So for these kind of projects, you can sell this policy. Road construction, builders, any project coming up like hospital or stadium or factory or power plants like that. Now as far as coverage of the policy is concerned, there are 2 sections, material damage and third party liability, but this material damage section is very wide because this is an all-risk policy. All-risk policy means every risk is covered except those risks which are specifically excluded or which are in the exclusion lists. Third party liability is of course covering the person's liability and the property liability as well. But material damage section is very wide. Say for example, this is covering all fire perils like fire, lightning, explosion, theft, burglary, windstorm, flood, inundation, earthquake, landslide, rockslide and subsidence. These are all perils covered under the fire policy. Any of the fire policies. Secondly, construction fault. Constructional fault means when the construction is going on, there could be specific faults like defective material, workmanship, collapse, subject to exclusions. They are also covered. Then human errors, lack of skill, negligence of workers. Then other perils like air crash, blasting. So you can see the coverage of the policy is very wide. Material damage section is covering every liability which is not excluded from the policy. Say for example, this is a real loss image. The loss at Delhi metro sites. If this kind of loss happens, you can imagine the nature of loss. Loss to property, loss to human life, loss to animal life, loss to machineries, loss to any constructed portion. Everything is possible. So the amount of loss we cannot imagine even by looking at the picture. Now the important question is how to decide the sum insured of the policy. This sum insured is very important because this policy is subject to underinsurance. There must not be underinsurance. If by any reason there is underinsurance, that means insured is loser. And you will never prefer that your insured should lose. Because you will never come for renewal otherwise. So while taking the appropriate sum insured, all these things have to be included. Means cost of marine imported machineries, landed cost at site, indigenous machineries, means manufactured in country, landed cost at site, cost of construction, permanent civil engineering works, half the escalated value, and in addition, cost of material, wages, freights, custom dues, construction costs, or material items supplied by the principal. They all should be included in the sum insured. If the sum insured is over-insured, then there is no harm, because that will also cover the escalated cost of the project. But if it is under-insured, in that case, the insured is going to lose at the time of loss, because the claim amount will be deducted proportionately. So insured should include all these things while deciding the sum insured. Project cost, construction duration, project location, coverage requirement, tailored insurance solutions. All these things becomes important when deciding the sum insured. Because this is a high risk policy. So even high risks should be considered like earthquake and all such risks which can cause the loss to the projects. That means in addition to the amount taken in the sum insured, there are certain add-on covers applicable to this policy, which are all voluntary. Insured can select any number of add-on or all of them, because they are optional. For each add-on cover, there is a separate premium. So these add-ons are third-party liability, surrounding property of insured, escalation, removal of debris, CPM and maintenance. CPM is a separate policy. But if for a certain amount, if the contractor is using his machineries at the project site, because day and night work is there, so those machineries can be covered under this CR policy at an additional premium as an add-on cover. So this is also an add-on cover here. And see, another image of the loss. Here the building under course of construction collapse. Now say suppose this building was constructed for 5 floors and upper 3 floors collapsed. So can you imagine the amount of loss by looking at this picture? It is difficult. But this entire portion and this entire structure is covered under the policy. So even the floors which are existing but shocked, cracks, they are also covered. Claim has to be paid for that, because over these walls the floors cannot be constructed. So this amount has to be assessed by the experts, surveyors, professional surveyors. This policy does not cover certain kind of risk like willful act or willful negligence of the insured or its responsible representatives, or loss discovered only at the time of taking an inventory, loss due to faulty design, consequential loss of any penalty or penalty for delay or non-fulfillment of terms, cost necessary for rectification or correction of any error, and the bodily injury or illness of the employees or workmen of the contractor, or even to the principals. Risk of employees or workmen of contractor or principal is not covered under the CR policy, because for that purpose there is a separate policy that is known as the workman compensation insurance or employees compensation insurance. So that is excluded from the policy. Now third party liability is also provided, that is the second section. But here, this is an additional cover. This additional cover says that the term implies legal liability arising out of the property damage or bodily injury suffered by third party on or near the site. In that case, what will happen? The insurer will not indemnify any claim from the employees of workmen of the contractor or the principal owner. As far as the workers' liability is covered, that is insured under the workman's compensation insurance. That is not third party for this purpose. Third party is a third person which is not related to the project. So third party liability cover cannot be granted during extended maintenance, but otherwise it can be granted because the water coverage is required. And the rate applicable for CR cover is to be charged for third party liability on the basis of any one accident or any one person. So this extra coverage is given. Now see why the third party liability coverage is required. Because if this kind of loss is taking place, which has actually happened under course of construction building in Ghaziabad corruption and 2 passerby killed. Passerby means persons passing through that way. And if they are affected, if they are injured, if they are killed by this material, that means third party liability would be there. Now if there is any loss to this site like this, so this loss could be partial loss or total loss. If it is a partial loss, in that case the insurance company will pay the cost of repair necessary to restore the property to the original condition immediately before the loss. But from that certain amount will be deducted as per the policy clauses. That is salvage, under insurance if any, and compulsory excess. Then only this property can be restored to the position which was immediately before the loss. But suppose if there is a total loss to the property, in that case actual value of the property immediately before the loss, less salvage, less under insurance and less compulsory excess, then only this property can be restored to the previous position. Under insurance is applicable only when there is a inappropriate submission. If it is appropriate, under insurance will not apply. If it is over-insured, under insurance will not be deducted. Now suppose there is any claim during the policy period and the insurance company has settled that claim. So the direct impact of that settlement would be that this sum insured would be reduced from that claim amount. And there is every possibility that the remaining period, in the remaining period, there could be another loss. Remaining period means unexpired period of insurance. There could be another loss, there could be more than one loss. So in that case, this sum insured will not be adequate because sum insured has already been utilized. Say suppose I have taken a contract of 100 crore for constructing a stadium. Now one portion of the stadium damaged due to earthquake. So there was a loss of 9 crore rupees. Insurance company has settled the claim for 9 crore. Now the sum insured has been reduced to 91 crore only. If there is any other loss, in that case, the sum insured may be inadequate. So better to pay the difference amount of premium and get the sum insured restated. This is one problem. Now when you are giving this policy to any of the contractors, keep in mind certain things. First of all, the rating. The rating will depend upon the nature of project. Because the policies will depend upon the project type. It's a bridge, it's a dam, it's a building, it's an office building, it's a factory, it's a power plant, what it is. Engineering tariff provides the rate but according to the nature. So for every project type, rate structure is separately decided in the tariff. Secondly, mid-term cover. Normally, no insurance company provides the mid-term cover. Because if in case the project has already started, contractor has not taken any policy, and after completion of some 5 months, 6 months or so, he has come to you for giving the insurance. You will say your project has already started, there could be loss, so you are taking the insurance today to claim it. So in that case, what precaution would you take? There are two conditions. First of all, the premium will be charged from the commencement date of the project. Project has already started since last month. You have to pay the premium for last 6 months. Secondly, you have to give in writing the declaration that there is no loss till date. The policy can be given only when taking the declaration from the insured of no loss history till date. Then only the insurance company will give the policy. Because some loss of 2 crore rupees is already taken and now contractor wants that I should take the insurance policy and should claim this loss. No company is so stupid. They will say your project has already started 5 months back or 6 months back. First of all, you pay the premium for 6 months. Because our policy will start from that date and will continue for 12 months. Secondly, you have to give in writing the declaration that there is no loss till date. So you cannot claim that previous loss. Yes, policy can be given for a small term. If the project relates to say 6 months only, 8 months only, though obviously the contractor will take the policy for 8 months only. But when the policy expires and the project is not completed, in that case policy will be extended for the further time. Now change of insurer. See a typical situation. Insurer, if the policy has been taken from the insurance company, extension cannot be given by another insurance company without taking the entire project. What does it mean? Suppose I am a contractor, I am constructing a stadium. I have taken a policy from Bajaj. But during that period, my terms with Bajaj were not very good. Now my project is not completed, I need the extension for 1 more year. I don't want to take that extension from Bajaj. I wanted to take from you. Now if I am approaching to you, will you give me the policy? Under no circumstances. What would you do? You have to do one thing. That what premium you have paid for the Bajaj for previous 1 year, that you have to pay to us. Then only we will cover the risk of the previous 1 year. Because we are not aware what loss has taken place in the previous year and you are claiming it from us now. So if the policy has been taken from one insurance company, extension cannot be given by another insurance company without taking the entire project premium. Now under this policy, the premium can be taken in installments. In case the project period is more than or equal to 12 months, premium can be taken in quarterly installments. But these installments are decided before issuance of policy. For this policy, there is a provision of providing higher discounts in addition to detailed discount. Because suppose the insured wants to bear the compulsory access in multiple times, additional discount can be given. This is a tariff provision. Say for example, the compulsory access under the policy is 1 lakh. Insured says, I will not take any claim up to 10 lakh rupees, means 10 times the minimum access. Insurance company can provide 20% discount to the premium. So this provision is also there. Higher discount. And this is permitted by the tariff. Now there could be two different important things. One is 50-50 clause. See, these contractors are very experienced people. These principals or owners are very experienced people because when they are incurring such a big amount, they are taking the policy maybe for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years till the project is completed. So they are seasoned people, they understand what the risk could be there even after completion of the project. So these contractors who are completing the project for various organizations and state governments, they are aware that what kind of problems they are facing in such projects. So when they are taking the policy, they will ask for a clause that is 50-50 clause only. Now this clause is without any PM cost, but this can be given only when it is asked for. This is a typical clause. This is covering a different kind of risk. What risk? What happens when a project is completed and handed over? Means the policy I earned it, policy expires. Now after handing over or after completion, say after 1.5 months, they came to know that this was the loss there, which we have not claimed. This has happened only when the policy was in force. So when they are intimating the claim to the insurance company will directly refuse it to pay. Your policy has expired, your project has completed, this is the current loss, how we can pay now because there is no policy. This can happen. This can happen and this is normally happening. When the loss is discovered after the risk has terminated under this insurance. But the insured will always say, no, this took place only when the policy was in force. This took place before the handing over of the projects. So you have to pay this loss. Now there would be confrontation, disputes. But the insurance company will take the precaution. They will send a surveyor. You go and discover. You go and inspect the loss and discover when it was happened. It is new loss or old loss. You can inspect the loss, but it is difficult to identify that how old this loss is. Happened today only or some 10 days before. So when it is difficult to ascertain when the loss has happened, It's not possible to ascertain whether the cause of such damage happened prior to the termination of insurance or after. So under such circumstances, this clause comes into picture. And then this clause says, okay, we will contribute 50% liability. Means 50% loss amount will be borne by the insured himself and 50% will be paid by the insurance company. And that is the final apportionment of the claim as may be agreed between the company and the insurer of the CR policy. Insured and insured. So this 50-50 clause is very important from that point of view. This is one clause. There is one more clause that is known as 72-hour clause. This is also having no premium cost, but this is also not given without asking. If the insured has the demand, this clause can be given. This is playing a different kind of role. This 72-hour clause is used for different purpose, and that purpose is there are certain kind of insured perils which are causing the loss not immediately but in different intervals. Say suppose flood is there or earthquake is there. So the 6th floor office has been constructed. Now earthquake is there and there is a shock. At the Richter scale, the speed of that shock is very high. And immediately 2 top floors are collapsed. And the insurance company was intimated about the loss. Insurance company, after verifying the policy, has registered the claim. The shock of the earthquake was very severe. Next day again, at the same location, at the same project site, which is owned by the same contractor, due to the same earthquake, one more floor collapsed. Because the shock was so severe. It is not another shock, the same shock. But the impact is coming even today and even after 2 days. The impact may continue. Similar is the case with the flood. Similar is the case with the storm and typhoon and cyclones. It is not that all the entire loss has taken place right now. Some portion maybe after hours or days. So when the different loss is taking place due to the same reason on different date, we are again intimating the claim to the insurance company. And suppose this happens 2 times, 3 times and 4 times. So every time, every day, you will report a claim. Now the question is, if we are registering different claim on the same policy, for the same risk, for the same location, so different claims are registered. Each claim is subject to compulsory excess. That will be deducted from each claim. So if my one project is there, one earthquake shock was there, today 2 floors collapsed, tomorrow 1 floor collapsed, one more day, 1 more floor damaged, I will report entire loss. If I am reporting it on 3 days or 4 days, means 4 times compulsory excess will be deducted. I would be the loser. What should I do? If I have taken the 72-hour clause, in that case, I will save the cost. This clause says that within 72 hours, whatever number of losses have taken place, that will be treated as one. So 72-hour period shall be decided at the discretion of the insured, it being understood and agreed that there shall be no overlapping in any two or more such 72-hour periods. So that will be treated as one and the compulsory access will be saved. Now the question is, you have to decide, suppose the contractor is coming to you to take the CR policy, you have to ask the important detail from him. What? The installation cost of the project, or the erection cost of the project, whether it is less than 50% of the total cost of the project or more than 50% of the total cost of the project. Say suppose some residential building is to be constructed. There is no doubt civil work would be more. You can give CR policy. Some road construction has to be done. There is no doubt. You can give the CR policy. Or say suppose some power plant is to be constructed. Means erection of machinery work would be there. In that case, erection of this policy would be there. So the CR and ER are both part of the engineering insurance. Both are always policies. Both are for long term. Both are related to the project insurance. The only determining factor which will separate them is that the cost of the project, means what percentage of total cost of the project has to be incurred on construction and what has to be incurred on the erection and installations. So that will decide which policy you have to give. Now in engineering, this is very simple, that the policies are purpose specific. If you have to cover the risk of plant and machineries of the contractor, you cannot give CR or ER policy. There you have to give the contractor's plant and machinery insurance. If you are giving the coverage for machineries to protect them during the entire working, entire year, whatever is loss, like repair or replacement of part is there, so in that case you will give only the machine breakdown policy. That will cover the risk. Policies are purpose specific. So for specific purpose you have to give the specific policy. Here again you have to understand, policy is annual or long term. Is it required for this contractor's plant and machineries, electronic equipment insurance, machineries or boilers? In that case, obviously annual policy will be given. But if the project policy has to be given, that is long-term project is there, contractor is going to construct or build some infrastructural development projects, for that purpose the policy has to be different, because the project could be of different nature. Bridge, dam, tunnel, harbors, hospitals, airports. It depends what kind of project is there. That will decide the premium rate, that will decide the policy, and then only you can give the policy. So this is all about the engineering insurance. Now you can ask the questions, whatever questions you are having.